Hey everybody, it's Erika with Crystal Rose Insights here to do a special video today. And I'm super excited to do this. I know many of you guys have been hearing me talk recently about how I'm expanding the work that I do here on this channel. And this is really something that's been in the works for a while. And I'm really excited to come on because you know what? The time is now. I have an incredible special guest with me today. This is Amanda Rumson, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about herself. But we are going to be talking today and many other days about an incredibly huge topic that is really important right now, and that is healing through consciousness. This is work that both Amanda and I have been doing separately for many years, and we've now come together. So anyhow, before I go too much further into this, Amanda, say hello and tell us a little bit about your background and what we're going to do here today.
Hello everybody, it's such a pleasure to be here and finally joining Erika like this, and she's such a special friend of mine, and we've been doing so much beautiful work over the last 10 months that it's so nice to finally be able to share it with everybody, as this really is part of our mission. So it's so exciting to actually be doing this together, and we've just been finding the most incredible things together. And I work through alchemy healing. And it's a method that came to me through all the work that I was doing, through my channeling, through all my clients, and it just developed and developed and developed. And then I was like put out to the universe, hey, I want someone to do this on me. I really do, because I seem to be doing this on everyone. Everyone gets healed, and I'm the only one that doesn't get my expertise. So then the next day along comes Erika. So put it out to the universe, and then they appear.
It was the next day. I didn't know that. I know. Oh my gosh. That's so awesome.
And then all of a sudden, I meet Erika. I'm on YouTube and it's going through, and I hear her voice, and that voice is resonating with me, and I'm thinking, yo, okay. And then I start listening to her. And then I'm like, wow. And then she's saying things. I don't know what happened. And I reached out to her. And then over that period of time, we kind of got speaking. And then after I did the treatment, I was like, well, you can do this too. And the main thing that we were talking about before is that I feel that's really important to understand is when we're doing these treatments, we're very connected to spirit and getting all this amazing information at the same time. And so I had this full trust in Erika to be doing this to me, which was very hard for me to trust other people to do my job. And we not only uncovered great things for ourselves and went through massive transformational healings, we also, which we're doing on other people anyway all the time, but we're going through them and really experiencing them from another place. But we also were learning amazing things from spirit at the same time, which has been so amazing for all of us. Yeah. And what we found enormously, that during a week, we would be going through similar things from a different angle, and also our clients were as well. So over to you to complete that.
Yeah, and those of you watching, you may not know my background, but in a nutshell, I've been healing through consciousness for about 11 years professionally, but even longer than that personally. I used the consciousness methods to heal myself from what people deemed as an incurable disease. And that's a story for another day, but I've been using consciousness to heal in a different fashion than Amanda for 11 years. And so she and I have been working in this world together separately because I'll tell you, when I started doing this was even more out there. It is becoming more mainstream. People are becoming more aware of it. And what was beautiful is that spirit brought us together ultimately through Amanda's intention in the universe, and we come together, and immediately it was like, didn't we do something where I did some channeling for you and you had channeled for yourself the night before and you had written it down, and then I channeled for you, and then we compared notes, and literally some of the same phrases came out.
Okay, but there's a reason with all of that. It's sometimes, we do these things for ourselves from spirit, and it's like, yes, too good to be true. It's like, it's so easy to do it for other people, and then when it comes to ourselves, we're like, yeah, right, wishful thinking.
Yep.
Oh yes, right. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm not even listening anymore, because this is like, I don't even know, because it's just too crazy. And then all of a sudden the next day you said everything.
No, that's it. And that's what I tell clients all the time is part of learning to trust your intuition is trusting your intuition. But even those of us that do this on a daily basis, for ourselves, it's challenged. Yes, exactly. Good point. To trust what we get for ourselves. So we have to check in with other beings. And that's why Spirit brings healers together at certain stages of their development, their consciousness development, to elevate them to the next level. Because you know what? It's really hard to do it on your own. You need a buddy system. You need people that get what you're going through, that can speak the language, that are gifted healers, that have different skill sets. And I know many of you guys, I've seen the questions coming up from a couple of the last videos I did, which is we all talk about doing this deep healing work, right? Everyone says, you got to do the deep work. You got to do the hard work. You got to do the shadow work. And then everyone's like, well, how the heck do you do that? And so we had already been talking about doing this video series or this weekly thing for months now, but the timing is now right. And we can probably tell a little story about how we actually knew that it was like, no, we got to do it now. But so that's what we're going to get into, is how to do the importance of doing the deep healing work, and why it's necessary, why it's not something you can just put on a guided meditation and then work through this deep stuff. I mean, you could probably chip away a little bit at it, but this is really important stuff. So what we're going to do is, did you have something you wanted to say before I keep going?
Just something else reminded me when you were talking about, how you got through all of this and how you had something wrong with you and then you'd gone deeper into healing. And I was just kind of thinking about the fact that, I couldn't walk at one stage of my life because I had a slip disc, L4, L5, S1. I couldn't move. And, and now I'm fine. Okay. And I didn't take the injections and everyone said, do this, do that. And also I came through it. And there were so many different other things that I was able to be healed from, because that was my process. I had to go through those things in order to heal, in order to learn what my lessons were, in order to develop my consciousness. So I think that that's one thing about all of us that are doing healing, that we've been through tremendous healings for ourselves, and that's then we come to a place of now we can help many other people through. But we were also talking about this before, and I wanted to bring this up again, is the fact that what was really, for me, the most amazing thing when I found you, and that it was with the cards, that I found really, really interesting, was like I'd be going through all of these things and with all my clients, and if I used a card and I pulled a card before, it would be exactly what the client was going through, so it would be bang on to the card or the oracle card was saying, came up in their sessions. So, and I used to hide the card, so they'd open the card, I wouldn't let them see the card, like I'd put it on the side, and only at the end of the session I'd show it to them. I hadn't even looked at it, and it always came up to exactly what was going on. So that was great. Now the other thing is with tarot, it really is showing you what the things are to help you to become highlighted to where you need to go and look and to do that deeper healing. But the other thing was as well, there was an alignment with the astrology as well of the now. So you'd listen to the astrology, you'd listen to all these things, and everything was aligning with each other.
Yeah.
What you're saying is, we've just got to go and do that work, and we've got to know how to do it. So it's all very well, it comes to the light by we're saying, oh, you've got to work on this, or this is coming in. But it's almost like, as I tell my students, smile out to the universe and it'll smile back at you. And you're like, well, I would if I could, but I can't. So your work is learning how to. So it's about finding what's blocking the things underneath so change happens effortlessly. So this is the level of healing work we're doing, where you go into the core root emotional issue that's sitting underneath everything, shifting it, and then all this change comes through. So it makes it so much easier for you in so many ways. And your pain is the place that we need to enter those stories. That's your healing comes from your place of pain, because where that pain is that week or that emotional story, and we go in it, then the healing will happen, which a lot of the pain is coming through your interrelationships with people, hence the whole twin flame journey, which is there to bring you to that wholeness in your healing.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And it's, so just a quick other backdrop to this. The reason that I was healed from an incurable disease, what was told was incurable, was because I healed through consciousness. I healed, and the root cause was an emotion. that started in my body was out of balance. And by balancing that emotion and getting rid of that out of my energy field, my physical body changed. I was, and you know, so I've been doing this consciousness work with clients using a different method than Amanda, but it was ultimately the same thing, getting at the underlying energetic root of it could be a spiritual issue. It could start with even a physical disruption. You could, you know, break an arm and that can cause an energetic imbalance that will then have repercussions that show up in other parts of your body. I mean, it's all connected. So Amanda, just as a quick background, like we've been doing this separately, but then we started doing sessions on each other using our own methods. And now we've kind of I've kind of shifted my method to be, because it's what she's been doing the same method, but I was using a technology to support it as well as using intuition. This is better. This is more interactive. And so we're now doing the same technique.
With the body bespoke to what the body needs, because it opens it exactly accordingly. So you can work with it, where we create the space and then you move through it. And it's just, this technology does work. The system you're using, it is that, but it's easier because the people are conscious through it. It's not just happening to you. So if you have a blockage in your system, you go to a healer, we just say, okay, we're going to get rid of that blockage. And I'm an energetic healer through my hands too. So I can get rid of that blockage, but the blockage is going to keep coming back until we move it through consciousness, which is enabling you to process the emotion first, get to the core root of it, as if we get to the right essence, and then release it, and then it moves. Yeah. And we're aware of it. And the shift is happening through the consciousness. So then your system moves to that and resets itself. So you don't need all those other things happening, and therefore we can change cellular memories in the process.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I want to give an example so that people can kind of wrap their head around this. If some of you might not really know what we're talking about, this, you know, if you're not used to talking consciousness speak, what does this mean? So I'll just give an example. I had a client who was a woman in her late 20s, healthy, everything's good, but she stopped getting her period. And she had gone to naturopaths, homeopaths, she had gone through doctors, she had gone through the ringer, and no herb, no supplement, nothing could help her. And so she came to me, and we did work through healing with consciousness. And I'm not joking, the root cause of her stopping her period was something that had happened when she was about 12 years old that caused her to have a concept around sexuality. And the fact that you couldn't be a sexual being if you were spiritual, because she was, at the time in her 20s, was involved with a spiritual community of a lot of yogis. And the particular group she was with was saying, like, no, you have to transcend sexuality. And she had a real conflict with this. And because of that, her body shut down her sexual process. So I did this, I did one session with her. Who gets her period for the first time in 2 years? Okay. Like the next cycle. And then again and again. It was like one, I mean, not that it only takes one thing, but in this case, it took a couple sessions. But
people have a lot of blocks in their sexuality as a whole. It's not just with their period system. There's all these old stories and old programming they've got also with their sexuality. So I've been through a lot of healing to get rid of the core root issues, to bring them, you know, health in their sacral chakra too. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's been a big thing. And also, you know, what Amanda and I have done since we've met is we have literally met weekly, twice a week, for about 3 hours at a time, where we do a healing session on each other. We're not only doing it with our clients, we're doing it on ourselves, literally on a weekly basis, sometimes bi-weekly basis. If somebody
do the same healing on the clients, so we do know what we're talking about.
What's that?
Hopefully we've done it on ourselves before we do it on them.
Yes.
We've done all the stories, so then when the people come to us, we know, you know, we felt it, we know it, we've been through it.
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to add to all of this is it's so easy to hear this about illness or pains or whatever, and so many people will go, not the clients that come to me, but the people you meet on the street, they go, no, I'm hobbling because I fell and I hurt my knee. There's no healing.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I should be so stupid, I should walk on a straight line, you know. Or people come and say, oh well, my shoulder hurts or my this hurts because it's just wear and tear, you know. Or there's so many stories that people have got that they tell themselves and they just think, well, that's practical and whatever, you know, or my migraine happened since I was 12 and therefore I just live with migraines. And we can just get rid of these things. You don't need to be with these diseases, which are dis-ease. You don't need to be living with them. You just don't need to. So you may have chosen to live with them for 30 years or whatever. You don't need to do it anymore. And I think people don't understand that. And it's just so simple.
Oh, and I didn't even tell you this, Amanda. So those of you guys, Amanda and I talk constantly, and we're like, we have to just start recording these conversations, because it's like we're having all these things. And I never told you, I met with a friend of mine last week for lunch, and she had broken her foot back in December really badly. It was one of those breaks that, like a freak of nature. It was one of the worst things they had ever seen, the doctor said. And she had stepped on something and fell. So she broke her leg. Really bad rehab. She was talking to another channeling healer friend of hers not long after it had happened. And the woman started channeling some information. And it turns out my friend's mother had broken the same foot on the same side of her body at the exact same age. And the reason that this friend had gone through this was to stop the pattern of what this meant in her life. The fact that this woman couldn't always needed help, never, it was all about needing help or being helpless and always doing things for others. And this was about receiving. So literally my friend breaking her leg on a random thing, you could argue, hey, I just stepped on this, I fell, was all about healing the ancestral pattern of that particular issue. So it's like crazy. Not crazy, crazy.
You know, we see these things all the time, and you know, we come back together about it. You're not going to believe what happened, or not believe.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
People could argue that. Why do we say we don't believe? But it isn't. It's like I always want to be in the state of wonder to the brilliance of the universe, because it's just unbelievable how it just is so precise.
Oh, you can't even imagine unless you're living it on a day-to-day basis with clients and stuff. It's like I never get tired of the magic of it. It's like I know it and I trust it, and every time I go, whoa, what the heck was that? And it was amazing. It's always amazing. So do we want to, let's see. So we're going to talk consciousness healing. It can be for physical ailments, but obviously it's also for emotional things, limiting beliefs, you know, the shadow work, the stuff that holds us back, the stuff that, you know, 85% of our behavior comes from our unconscious mind that is imprinted from birth until age 7.
And we want to get rid of it. We don't need to live with it anymore. Nobody needs to be living with it.
We don't need to, exactly.
That space and time, we don't need it. And then the more we get rid of it, the more we can get into our truest selves and be connected to our real self. And it's possible. It really is possible. I'm seeing more and more people coming through, altering consciousness, and we can all do it. We don't need to live suffering. We don't need to be living in victimhood. We don't need to be living in old stories of negativity or stuck in what we were told about ourselves and believing it. But I want to bring us on to something that was just amazing this week, because we've seen it all over the place this week, which was the sharing one, which is the one about the body image and stuff like that. That, you know, when we're doing all of this work, and not all of us have exactly the same issues, okay? Not all of us do. Because we all have the specific issues that are right for us to develop our souls at this time. We all have our specific lessons to be learning. But there's a very, very big one right now, which is out there, that is affecting many women, which is the body image. So, you know, and there's all these fears that are going around it. And I wanted you to share that one, you know, because of the stories, and then that amazing clip that we got on YouTube of that girl's song that was just like, wow. And how she was sharing, and it was so meaningful, because you see her as the most beautiful girl. She has a voice like an angel, and she was suffering from body image. And you know, when I was in fashion years ago, you would hear all these stories, and these models look so beautiful, they look so incredible, and you know, you wouldn't believe, you know, they're the pretty ones, so why do they have an issue with what they look like? So you know, you're seeing that this is one of the massive things that's affecting so many women today. And so
yeah, so Amanda and I, like I said, we heal every week. We do the stuff. We also have our clients, and we had talked about the body image issue coming up for the divine feminine, for sacred feminine. Part of their healing work is to accept fully who they are on the inside and not on the outside. And this is so
helps fully on the inside and outside, but that wasn't meaning to judge it by what you look like.
No, definitely not. And but it's one of the things that is at the core of fully loving yourself. I think that's really underneath it, because this has been, so we talked about it a number of months ago, and it's now just resurfaced again as one of the themes. And then I noticed I was getting some comments and some emails around healing body image. And I was like, well, funny, Amanda and I talked 2 days ago about that's one of the things we're going to talk about on our recording on Tuesday.
So just for everyone to know, we touched body image like months and months ago, and then it can come up again. But that's like that for all healing. So you heal something, and then you'll be like, well, I've got to go back there again. There's something else coming up on it. And you're like, but I healed that. You're on another angle of it, because that thing affected other things. So we cleaned part of it, but then, there may be another side of it that came up that we didn't even think about.
That's I'm so glad you brought that up, because this is how I always explain it to my clients, is when you do consciousness healing, sometimes they'll bring you something more small and subtle at first to clear out of the way before it gets to the deeper core issue. They're not, most of the time, and you can correct me, tell me what your experience has been. And in my experience, most of the time, they're not going to bring you the Mac Daddy of the Mac Daddy deepest issue right away. You have that experience too?
We definitely not. I think what they're going to do is they do it gently. First of all, you start the healing, they do it gently. They're never going to open something up to you on the first go. So let's say you were raped as a child and you don't remember it, okay? They're never going to bring that up, okay? Or something has happened and that's traumatic, because it's around the traumas that things shut down, okay? But the most important thing that I teach to everyone is like, the trauma of one person could be, I fell off the bike, I'm 2 years old, I can't see mum and dad next to me for 1 minute, can be equal to a trauma of a much bigger level. So we're not to judge each other's traumas, but the traumas exist, okay? And that person, maybe that fell off the bike, can't be away from people for 1 minute for the fear of their life or something. I mean, it can be really random.
Yeah.
And, but they will never open it. This is how it goes when you do this work and you do it so bespoke for the person. They only open what you're ready to open. And even if I do a group of regression for a whole group of people, okay, I feel safely assured that if I'm doing the same one for a whole class, that each person in the class only goes to what they're ready to open at that time. They will never open something on a very, very deep level until you are ready to contain it.
Yeah.
It's a very supported thing. And you can't blast people through consciousness, because we're going back to the old ayahuasca or something. You can take a pill or LSD and we can blast you out. No, this is it's held. So it's very slow, integrated in the way that you can see the issues, go see what's underneath them, come out of them, and you're supported fully in the whole process. It's healing, it's loving. Because a lot of people are really afraid when they start the process. They're like, oh no, I'm really afraid, I'm coming to you, I'm really, really frightened, and then suddenly all their fears are playing games on them, and I don't really want to do it, because then I'm going to discover, oh my God, the worst, I'm a terrible person. Yeah. Nobody is a terrible person, okay? Well, I'm going to discover I'm worthless. Nobody is worthless. So, all these things, or I've done terrible things to someone. If they know me and they really, really know me, they won't like me. Erika, have you ever felt like that? And if I really know you, I wouldn't like you.
Right. No, but that is the important piece when you're going to do, some people call it shadow work. And I don't personally call it shadow work.
I just find
because people
can into the light.
Yeah. And when we do these healings, like sometimes clients will come and they'll say, I really want to heal unworthiness or feeling like I'm not good enough. And then when we get into the session, Spirit will take us into a totally different topic that they didn't expect, because Spirit knows the right thing to do at the right time to heal them. And that's where I always tell clients, I say, listen, you might have a preconceived notion of what you think is going to come up, and just shut that down right now and let it just come out and trust what's coming in. Because what often happens is we'll think we're going in for this, and then an entirely other story comes out where at the end of it, we're like, Oh my gosh.
It's so funny because I like be writing the things down as they're happening, and I'll be going, and I say to everybody, you think you're making this all up and you don't know how it's going to work. Only at the very end, you realize you're not that intelligent. No one is, because it's so crazy. You'll be like, I don't even get what that got to do with anything.
Yep.
Okay. And then all of a sudden you're like, and you've shifted consciousness because you realize what this is all about. And I mean, we've had so many like that where we've just come up at the end going, wow, that's amazing. That's just brilliant.
Oh, and it's just like,
that's shocking. That is shocking. Yeah.
So, we're talking here about the body image thing. It's something where, in terms of what we want to it's coming up, and it's coming up for a reason. It's coming up because I was getting a lot of messages through my readings and also through client sessions and my channeling work, where we talk about coming into wholeness. We talk about self-love. And yes, we can say we love ourselves. We can say it intellectually, but do we truly feel it? And the divine feminine energy is connected to the moon cycle. So I wouldn't be surprised if this full moon this week, tomorrow, is going to be a massive doozy. We already know this. Venus is in retrograde. It's already a deeply intense time. But that's where the integration is, if you truly, because you can't come into love of self thinking, this is about healing codependency, right, Amanda? It's like, because codependency is where you feel like something's missing in yourself and you find it in someone else, and then you're drawn to each other. You're both missing something.
And we want to get to unity of self first, so that we don't need to choose a partner that completes you.
Yes.
We want to. They're not there. You're with them out of need. We need to get rid of all of these things. Or you have an issue with yourself. That's why you are attracted to a partner that has those things that you don't have. We want to change that paradigm, because we're going to come to a place of wholeness, so that the two souls together become this greater unity and this greater being. And we need to be moving to these new type relationships. But in order to move to these new type of relationships, which incorporate a far greater love vibration, we can only do it by being in unity of self. Now, just to add that one part to what you were saying, which I just wrote down on the side, was about, if I am feeling okay with my self-image, my body, okay, and we can all argue that it's okay for us to say when we don't have, weird deformities or whatever, all different things. But, we went to a past life where you had a deformity. I had something that was deformed in this life. So we really do get this. It's, we look like confident women today, but we've all been through our package of different things. And I'm just enormously tall. So, that was a very uncomfortable thing as I walk into a room and I'm like taller than everybody else. And they're like, oh. So we've all been through a lot of things with ourselves. But if I'm sitting there, or I'm in a relationship with a guy, that I'm moving out of adding someone to this, and we're bringing this to a relationship one, because we're, from twin flame, kind of coming out of the twin flame, channel where people are very into it, trying to improve their relationships and get out of the pain of the relationships that they're in. That if I'm feeling good about myself, and I'm not carrying a body image, I'm able to be free. I'm not in control with the things of myself. I'm not hiding things. I'm not holding things back. And in order to have a great union and bring in this better, higher love vibration, I can't sit there with all my hang-ups. Okay? I want to be free. Okay? So, I'm free. I'm really who I am. I'm free. So if I'm worried about my finger, my spot,
your weight, your body shape,
I've dealt with the weight one because I've done so much work with people with eating disorders. That's been a massive one. Thanks for bringing that up. But if I'm sitting there and I'm worried about my kilos that I've put on, or pounds that you call it in America, whatever, if I'm going to be worried about all of that, okay, I'm not able to be in myself. I'm not able to be in a place that I can be good with myself, okay? And, part of this healing is to move to a place of feeling good about yourself.
Yeah. And what's so fascinating is this was so interesting for me, because this has come up, body image has come up for both of us. And what I thought was really fascinating was I never had body image issues ever in my life. I mean, there was a time in my life I weighed probably about 15 pounds more, like 20 pounds, maybe not 20 at this point, but maybe almost 20 pounds more than I do now. And I never was self-conscious about it. It wasn't the time for me to heal that. And I feel like it came up for me because it's important with the work that I'm doing with so many clients, so I can help heal them. Because it's not like I grew up with worrying about my weight. I didn't even think about it. I always called myself great.
That was most interesting because Erika had that. She never had that. And I saw a picture of her where she was just like, wow, it's like a perfect bod. And I didn't grow up like that. You know what I mean? Having a bit of a belly, bit of a this, bit of that. So for us, it's one way. She went another way. And then, of course, with age, we all develop another way. So, you know, and it's so interesting, but we both had to tackle it from another angle. So I'm only bringing this up because the people that are sitting there, they may say, well, okay, they grew fat or they grew this, they grew, you know, and then how do you go the other side, or that you were very thin and then they've got no idea what the others, it's a plethora of things, you know what I mean? It's a massive amount of different angles we've got of all of this. But what's so amazing is, especially when you're working with other people, is you can see it all from another angle as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what's fascinating about the work that we do together weekly is that Amanda and I will manifest our imbalance or our trigger or something, trigger or whatever's coming up. We'll manifest it in different ways, but we a lot of times have a very similar theme. I mean, I can't tell you how many times where I'm doing a session on her. I'm like, isn't this what came up for exactly like what came up for me? Is this my session or your session? Because that's
that was so funny. That was so funny. That happened this week.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Where I was like, wait a second, was that? Like I was literally in channel and she was treating me, and I was like, I'm getting this, but was this a client of mine that I remember this exact scene? I've seen it before, but I couldn't remember. I'm like, have I told you about it or did I just imagine it? Like it was crazy. It was overlapping, but I feel like the divine and spirit is using us as in our work coming together, because our healing does help the collective. And I feel like I really want to talk about what came up last week with my session. Because guys,
I'm not saying it. I was waiting for you to say it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's my session. I'm like, don't reveal my.
I would love to give you as an example of.
I know. I'm like, don't reveal my secrets. Let me reveal whatever secrets I want to reveal. Right? Okay. So
reveal yours.
Guys, to make me laugh. So Amanda and I never have fun together, by the way. It's never fun talking. We're being very serious on this one compared to usual. So, but don't worry, it's going to come out. Because life is fun. High vibes are fun. Like laughter is beautiful. But anyway, so last week I was doing a healing session, or I was being treated by Amanda. And we were talking about, we were healing, literally it was a physical thing. I had something going on with sinuses and things like that. So we were going in for a physical issue, and underneath it came this massive story that was all around the topic of speaking up. The importance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, but the importance of speaking your truth, the importance of not being held down, not being,
and that was the same week everyone had throat problems. That one week, I remember.
Yes. Yeah, that was last week.
So all you people, you all had a bad throat because everyone was going through that one. And that was aligned to astrology, and that was aligned to the tarology too. Do you remember? That was unbelievable. There was throat chakra that everyone was going through.
And yes. And that was so funny because I said it and I'm like, I think I want to work on this. She's like, I've just had 3 clients with that same thing. Let's do it. And what happened during our session, because we work with incredibly divine beings. We work with all sorts of ascended masters and light beings. And in this particular session, Archangel Michael, what's that?
My people.
I know, our people. We figured out that we have the same guides. Our guides are the same. And they're all really funny.
Yes.
I have to tell you what happened yesterday with my guides. I had the biggest laughing fit with a friend of mine over voice texting where I couldn't even breathe. I was like sweating because I was laughing so hard because my guides were being hilarious, but that's another story. So what Michael, when Angel Michael complains about me. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we work with Archangel. Archangel Michael comes in a lot in our work, and he's more often in it. So he came through both for her and for me.
Most often when it's relationship ones. He's most prominent when we have relationship ones that we're being taught. That's what
And so one of the things at the end of my session, because my session went through all sorts of experiences where I didn't speak up, or I wasn't safe to speak up, or I wasn't capable. It wasn't positive. So I learned to not. Okay. But at the end of the session, Michael was telling us, like, it's time now for consciousness, light workers, healers, people on this ascension path. This is now the time to speak up. No longer are we supposed to hide this information. No longer are we supposed to be embarrassed, or people are going to think we're crazy. I mean, many of us have been doing this sort of on the slide. Amanda and I haven't, but a lot of people, like, they don't want to speak this to their friends because of what they're going to do.
It's hard for you to put yourself on air for people to see your face. Okay. And it was hard for me to go on TV. I mean, like, I was put on the news and I had to speak, and I was like, oh my God, live, what am I supposed to do? So, you know, it was very hard for me to take that step outward like that. And remember, I still don't have a YouTube channel, so it's a big step. And but you know, we're doing it, but to go out in the mass public, it was another thing. And for you to say, okay, I'm going to see my face because this is who I am. I eat it, breathe it, am it.
Yeah, that was big. And that's also part of this reopening of my work and expansion. I've talked about it on the channel before. You guys may have heard me say it, but I'm not just in this niche. My expertise and experience is all these different areas: conscious parenting, conscious health. I'm a naturopath. I've worked healing people for forever using, you know, science and research and supplements and all sorts of things. So all of that is expanding, and that is part of it too. Is
supportive. It's all very supportive work to this, supplements and anything that, you know, this is supportive.
Yeah, and so I know a lot of times on my readings recently, whether it's on Instagram or here or in my private sessions, we talk about mission work and the importance of mission work coming out. And this is such a massive message. And I love that literally Amanda and I have been talking about doing this forever. Circumstances, timing didn't quite work, and we knew it would be the right time. And last week when Michael said that, he goes, it's showtime, ladies. Like, it's time to get out there in a much bigger way. What's that?
Holiday's over. No more vacations.
Holiday's over.
Back to mission work.
Back to mission work. And that's the other thing. Like, they'll get to know us as we do this. But Amanda and I always joke that we're like we were sisters in a past life for sure. But we're so almost not opposite, but we struggle with, like, we have different, we're not opposite. How would you call it?
Sisters.
Sisters.
And many family are not exactly alike. They have very many similarities, but there's a few differences.
Yeah, which is what I love about the work that we do, because the stuff that I know for me with
Erika's the very good
one. I'm apparently the good one. She says it all the time, and I'm like, no, it doesn't mean you're the bad one.
I have to tell you what she does. She's like really with spirit, and she doesn't argue with spirit. Never. And she keeps trust. She keeps faith. She doesn't question. She does nothing. She's very, very good.
Well, yeah, and so Archangel Michael did make fun of her the other day because he said Amanda's his most difficult client. He's like, everybody else, you know, listens to me. Nobody else argues with me, but you do. And Amanda, she is so brilliantly inquisitive, which is why she's so amazing at what she does, because she's got that mind that always wants to, like, understand and figure it out. And if she hasn't figured it out, it's like, I can't sleep until I figure out. She's texting me at, 3 a.m. her time because she's still awake. I'm like, what are you doing up? Because she's in Israel and I'm in California, and so our time difference is 10 hours. And so anyway, we're across the globe from each other.
And I need to know everything. So I discovered all this stuff because I was so inquisitive, and I need to know everything. So, but that obviously works against me when I don't just accept a few things. And I'm like, no, why do you have to do it that way? I think this would be better. And they were like, right. Yeah.
And so I'm always, right. So it's me and your guides ganging up on you a lot of the time.
Dolby surround. It's lovely telling me something, and then Erika will be saying it as well. It'll be Dolby surround. She'll be like, okay, yes. So I feel like they're all working against me, even though they're both all working with me, of course. But it's like, I hope people understand my sense of humor. But
right.
what it is. It's like we all sit there and go, but why couldn't it be like this? And why is this happening? And it's only getting worse before it gets better. And why, you know, this is so bad. And why do I have to suffer like this? Or something. And they'll be like, well, you obviously do need to suffer until you're going to work this out, right? Until you're going to learn the lessons from it. And we have to go through these lessons. And I'd like to bypass these lessons, and I'd like to bypass these lessons for everybody.
Everybody though? That's
anyone to go through any pain and suffering, but sadly it doesn't work like that. But all we can do is support you in that process, holding the space, facilitating it to take you through as quickly as possible, so that you can move through and move to that new place, that you don't need these old stories to keep repeating over and over and over. Because you know what, even if you get rid of that guy, you're going to keep pulling in the same time until you learn that lesson. So we have to go through that healing.
Did you watch the video I did the other day? Because that's exactly what I said. I was talking about where if you're wanting to leave a relationship because you're frustrated and it's just not happening in your timing, you're just going to move on and you're frustrated. That's not, you're going to attract the same and then some in the next one because you didn't learn the lesson. And sometimes it's 3 or 4.
Note here that not one of my people were the same ever. I'm the opposite. I go the exact opposite. But then you see the exact opposite is the same, because until you learn the thing in between, it doesn't shift.
Yes. And so I was getting a lot of questions on the channel about how to do this deep healing work. Obviously Amanda and I do this work and going to somebody like myself, but you know, and we work with people all over the world. We work over Zoom, so geography doesn't matter. I've maybe only done a couple sessions in person just because they happen to live in San Diego, but I don't, most of the time I don't do that. But
Australia, India.
Oh yeah. I mean, the moment I started doing, everywhere. And time zones. The time zone thing is always interesting to figure out, like, when are you available?
And then you have to give it on their time, and then I'm like, okay.
But that's why I put the scheduling software up that automatically calculates it. I don't have to think about it or do math or math.
You send me what software I need for that, because
I'll send it to you. It made my life so much easier.
3 o'clock in the morning. I only want you at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Like when.
Yeah. So when we talk about doing the deep healing work, let's talk about what deep healing is and this work and what it isn't, because I think there's a lot of people that throw around the term and, you know, what are some other alternatives for how to do this work? For example, if you can't come do a session with you or me, what are other alternatives or other paths we could take? Because, you know, that's what people are asking. And I think we need to, like, I have to figure out, you know, I know I see your face because I'm feeling the same thing. Like, there's really no avoiding it.
No. That's not what I'm feeling. Okay. I'm feeling like I've been a little slack, and that I have a lot of recordings that you just need to listen to and you can do it. They're not as good and bespoke. Like the other day, past lives, I said this to you. Yeah. Remember? You were like, how did you do it on your own? How did you do it on your own? Because I needed to look at something. I saw something. I was like, okay, what is going on in the past life? I need to know the answer to this, because it's just so profound. I have because I did courses, you know, and all of this. So I have the regression sort of group for the past life one, where they're not talking back at me. So I just have the recordings. You listen to it and it can take you to the place.
Yeah.
People can do all these recordings. I have one for emotional healing. I have one for physical healing. Obviously they're not online because I'm a bit slack. Eventually I'll sort that out. And even though they're little, okay, that can be huge for a lot of people. You know, they're 20 minutes. You get to the core issue. Yeah. That week it'll resonate, and you can maybe ask questions on it or something. Maybe we can do one together, and we can just play it, that people can maybe do them a little bit, and then it will be one on emotional pain, get to the core root, or the physical. They won't be as massive as if you do it on your own, because
but it's better. Yeah.
Reprogram the whole thing, bring you out the other side. But in my eyes, there's no other way. I mean, there are many other good techniques you can do where you reprogram, but it's a lot comes back, or look, I don't want to say bad things about people, because there's some great stuff and everybody gets what they're supposed to get at the right time of the whatever. I just find that when you do like this system of like, when you go, you create this massive transformation and it gets you through.
Are you channeling me right now? Because I know that's what I was going to say next.
We're not channeling each other. We channel.
No, we're not channeling each other. We're getting guidance from the same guide. So it's like
answers as we speak, because otherwise we don't know what we're talking about. They're just telling us what to say all the time.
Yeah, because what I was gonna say, what I wanted to bring up was, even after one session of this type of healing, the emails that I get on the transformation, the way that people feel, it could, whether it's working on an emotional thing, whether it's a physical thing, it is one session can make a massive shift, because it's that level of depth. It's not like, oh, you have to do this granted, we do it every week because that's just our mission, and we're here to do and we're really we have lots of stuff to work on.
Dig into the depth of consciousness itself.
Like how often do we say, like, who the hell's going to do all these sessions like we do? Like, nobody's going to work this hard. What's that?
The truth is they don't need to. But
no, I know, but we joke. And not that nobody...
Studying it at all times. So we study each layer of consciousness. We're seeing all the way around it. We're understanding it from every angle. And it's great because, first of all, I'm teaching people. So that's it. And all of these examples I get, I use them to teach with. So all these stories and all these things, because it's amazing, how, my stories, how you can teach and people can connect to all of them. So, it's your own inner healings, and I can't give other people I can't talk about your story to other people because it's private. So I can talk about mine, and you can go inside each and every layer, and that's what we do. And we discover so much stuff. So I don't think, oh, come on. I mean, we must be so shiny clean or nearly there, because we've done so much cleaning, you can't even imagine. I'm shining. Can you see my shine?
Yes, you totally are. You are glowing. But yeah, I think that's
maybe the face makeup, but it's all good.
I think that was really important for people to understand, is that this is something that because you're going to the deep of the deep of the deep, right? So it doesn't mean that all of a sudden one session and everything's hunky-dory necessarily. However, it can have a massively profound effect.
Okay. And also, I don't think people are as complex as me or as complex as you. I think they deliberately made us this complex so that we go through these layers. Because I don't have any clients that are as complex as me, that's for sure.
No, yeah, and that's an important point.
I think Michael's right. I'm the most difficult person I know.
But that's also part of our mission work and our calling, and the reason that you and I have gone through what we've gone through in our lives and come through it and grown and worked through it and discovered things, and we're here doing this. It's like we're getting a lot of these things so that we can teach others, and not everybody's going to have to go through that, what we've been through in order to get happiness, abundance, peace, love, all of that. But obviously our role as teachers, we have to go through it in order to be able to teach it and to be able to help others. So let's see, what other things do we want to share today about the themes of the week? What's been coming up? Or
self-forgiveness, which was one. I had 3 people were on self-forgiveness this week.
Yeah, I was on that a couple weeks ago, and then it came up in a couple other times. But that's self-forgiveness is a big piece of the loving yourself, right? So self-forgiveness, whether it's self-forgiveness or body image, it's still manifesting in the fact of you're not whole in who you are.
I think that when people, the biggest thing about self-forgiveness is a bit further down on the level of healing, because first you have to go into knowing what's wrong, understanding what happened to you. Obviously you have to work to find some form of forgiveness, how the people did it to you, or that this happened, or something, and then you have to forgive yourself, either for being in that place and allowing yourself to stay there, or to, or the way you behave to other people, or you get to this, along that healing channel, the process of it, you get to that one place that, you have to exercise self-forgiveness. And I think that I'm going to give the example of 2 of my clients that were going through this, of they woke up that they put themselves, there was really bad marriages and they stayed in them for a very long time, very long time. And they were all, you know, some 20 years, 30 years, it was a long time. And they just stayed there, and they were like, he did this to me and he did that to me. And they weren't taking any self-responsibility, or even self-responsibility enough to say, yes, he's not okay, get out, get out. You know, these were really abusive marriages. And, you know, they thought they should just take abuse. Why not? You know, this was it. You've got kids with them. You should stay there. You should go through this and you should stay there. Why? You know, and they stay. And it was just so, they've been through massive healings. These are people that have been working a lot of healing. And then they get to a place where they get the strength and the ability to know they can stand alone, and the support, and they've moved themselves through a lot of self-work. And they get to a place where then they wake up and go, how was I there? Why didn't I know I could get here earlier? I could have got here much earlier. Like I could have, if I knew this was all it was, I could have got here much earlier. And then we have to exercise self-forgiveness.
And out comes the balance card. This is about integrating the light and the dark, the light and the shadow, all of ourselves coming into balance. You're not in balance. When you're not in balance, you're missing something and something's off. So I love that just came through. You know, for me, the self-forgiveness thing, I never knew I had to work on this issue. And literally one morning, a couple of weeks ago, I woke up and, you know, as I'm coming into this world again after being asleep, I heard the word self-forgiveness, and immediately Spirit brought me an example of something that happened when I was a child. I was like 7 or 8 or something. And so I was like, okay, self-forgiveness. And so I worked through it. And then 2 days later, I had a session with you. And I said, well, this came up for me a couple days ago. It came up for a couple of other of my healer friends, all at the same time. It was like, we're on one topic and then boom, the universe brings us another topic to work on. Then we went into the session, and that example that Spirit gave me that Sunday morning when I woke up didn't even come up in the session. So it was like the gateway for me to look at the topic, mention it to her. It wasn't even what I wanted to work on that day, but then the whole thing came through when we went into the treatment, where it was all about self-forgiveness, but it was on another topic altogether. So it was just fascinating how this happens. And that's where the more aware you are as this part of you, the intuitive hits, the guidance you're getting, they're giving it to you. It's about you listening.
And you had to go through that story, or you, the people, you had to go through it. This was part of your lesson. And, you know, you had to go through it. So you just have to be kind to yourself and say, okay, just like you would your clients, or just like you would your children, or just like you would, it's okay. It's okay. You know, we needed that to learn. We had to experience that. We had to stay, because this is a major, major life correction that we need to be making. And we need to really, really understand it. So we really had to go through that experience. And so we had to be there. And so, you know, and it's all part of learning love of self, kindness to self. And that is one of key part, which is coming nearer to the end, where you just say, I forgive myself, you know, because I'm going to be good to myself. I'm not going to berate myself for where I should have been, would have been, could have been. I'm just going to be all nice to myself.
Yeah. And I think
very hard for me to learn. So, you know, but I got there. Maybe most of the time.
I hope so. You're like, maybe a little bit, sort of. No, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm really mean to myself, even for a split second. Don't worry, Erika will tell me, be nice. Or vice versa. We remind each other.
Yeah, I'm often like the one that comes in after Amanda's not listening to Spirit. They'll bring me in to remind her yet again. And then she's like, oh, come on. You guys are all ganging up on me.
That's why they brought Erika in, just in case I wasn't.
Apparently she needed someone to keep
her on.
Amanda, no, like you're not like you've been listening to Spirit for how many years, and you get channel guidance all the time, and you still needed someone else to come in, right?
Well, I walk the street, I hear them everywhere I go. Like I'm hearing, and Spirit's coming in everything I do. Like I'm integrated with Spirit. I'm with them all the time, and it's like sometimes it feels me and Spirit, and it's like, come on, you can't see them. This is like maybe it's in my head or something. But don't worry, when you're with people like us, they're doing it as well. It's like there's no escape. And same channel, same everything. They're saying all the same things. There's no difference. It's like it's just coming to her, and that's it. It's like we're all tuned into this frequency, and we got it in Dolby Surround. It's like it's coming on in. Oh,
Yeah.
and by the way, if we do want to choose to miss it in each other, it'll happen in front of us in the street. It'll happen on the corner. The radio will start playing the song. The TV will show the movie of it. Everywhere. It just, you cannot miss the lessons. When you start moving through at this rate, you cannot miss one lesson.
Oh, like I started keeping a journal, like, because I track, like, I'm trying to track my, like, not my progress, but my journey. And I'm sending voice memos to some of my other, you know, basically my soul tribe, really. I'm sending voice memos. Sometimes I'm sending pictures. Sometimes I'm like writing it in my journal. Sometimes I'm channeling it on my computer in Word. And then I'm like, it's not all in one place. So I started writing in my journal, and I literally said to someone yesterday, I was like, if I actually wrote down everything that I get, I'd be writing all day long. I'd never get anything done, because there's so much that when you start opening up and doing this healing work that you get, that's like, that you can support yourself.
But this has been the biggest issue in my book, actually, because you see, there's so much going on, and then it goes to the next level, and the next level, the next one, and you're past it by the time you need to write it.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of like
in real time. This is the book.
So good we're checking in and we start sharing this stuff, because otherwise it's okay, we're on to the next thing and it's so far gone, and then everybody else doesn't get to join that part. You know, when I'm teaching each week, that's easier because, you know, it comes up. Oh, and the most interesting thing, I don't know if I said to you, when you do a whole group in a class, they've all got the same issues that week.
Yep. And they're all, yeah. And half the time, isn't this true too? You're doing a session on a client, they get healed, it's healing the same issue in you.
No, I don't need a healing anymore.
No, you're not. Yes. Mm-hmm, sure. Sorry, that's just me then.
Definitely. It will be another angle of the same thing. It'll be another angle. I'm trying to think if there was any good example of that, but I've lost my memory now. It's late at night for me over here. And I just, you know, I'm like,
Well, the thing is, we have so many examples and so many stories. And I think the purpose of this initial one was to have you guys understand a little bit about why we do this work, the importance of doing this type of work with people that know what they're doing. You know, there's a lot of healers out there, and there's a lot of people that, you know, you got to go with someone you trust. That's super important. But like Amanda said, this is stuff that you can do on your own to a point, for sure. And if that's what you can do, like, there are resources to do that. And maybe as we continue this, we'll be able to do some stuff together and show you so you can watch it and have those things available in your space. Obviously, both Amanda and
just, you know, read it out like online, and then they can do, if there's enough people that are interested in it, you know, I can read it through and take people on, and then they can record it through that.
Yeah. So we, you know, our aim is to, obviously, you know, we're being called to do this. We're being called to come on weekly and talk about the healing themes, the things that are happening, what's going on in the collective consciousness, and just how it's meant.
If they want to write it into you, and then we can, you know, if enough people on one subject, then we will come out and talk.
Yeah, in fact, guys, if you feel comfortable putting it in the comments below, the things that are coming up or the things that you're, you know, are happening, that will feed into what we talk about here too, to some degree. Like, we'll know, like, yeah, we've had that come up many times too.
Or to understand, because I think a lot of people, you know,
to understand.
Yeah, stuck in the twin flame journey, and they're like, why is it so painful? Why is this? If they really understood what was really going on that other, you know, energetic level, and they could realize that reach for wholeness and what that process is, that information may really, really help as well. So, because I feel there's a little bit of mistisinformation out there. You know,
a lot of misinformation.
I'm going to be happy when I'm with him. I'm only going to be.
Oh, and I'm going to stick it out because he's my twin, and we're supposed to be together, but meanwhile it's an abusive situation, and that's never what it's supposed to be. And so there's a lot of distortion. You know, those of you guys, if you haven't seen
I don't want people to suffer that much.
No. And if you guys haven't seen the video I did last week on this topic of, you know, this is for twin flame specific. These conversations are not going to be twin flame specific. This is going to be a broader spiritual consciousness conversation that we'll be doing. but definitely put some comments down below, and we'll, you know, anything that you're curious about or struggling with that maybe we can address on these types of calls, these videos. We may accept.
You did the conscious parenting work, but I've done some amazing work with people, with the adults that got children's problems, that we can heal the parent and then the child changes.
Well, that's
the kid that needs the healing, right? But we can do it via the parent, because
you just gave away my secret, by the way. I'm just kidding. No, you didn't give away my secret, but no, that's what I always used to say, because I would teach conscious parenting and I would work with families, and it would be like a 6-month process, because you can't just change things in a family dynamic overnight. And the first thing the parents would say is, do you need to meet my child? And I'd be like, nope, I don't need to meet your child, because when the parents change, the children change.
We've seen massive, massive, massive results. You wouldn't even believe it. You know, kids weren't even at school now, back at school. Things like, you know, there's so many different examples of it, that there are issues with kids and they completely disappear. So, you know, in it, the little thing you have to kind of align, and boof, the kids change.
Oh, it's magical, and it is. It's I was like, because I always was like, no, we don't need to meet your child. You're gonna fix my kid. No, I'm gonna fix you.
And it's such a blessing, you know. Just to say this for a moment, it's such a blessing to have a job like this, because, you know, you see such amazing blessings when people get healed. You're like, wow, that's just so beautiful. And to have the joy and the beauty of being able to be part of that is just wonderful. It's really, really special. And you know what's so special now is even we can share it with people, because it's such an amazing thing to get to see what we see. So, you know, and to be able to share that with everybody, I think.
Oh, it is. And, you know, I'm in the process of creating my website at the moment, and I've been working on it for a while, but kind of pulling everything together that I've done for the last 20 years of my life, basically. And, but in that process, what I've found is that even in conversations I have with people, I couldn't have had these conversations 10 years ago with the general population. Like, I'll run into someone, they're like, oh, hey, what are you up to? And no longer am I like, oh, I'm still a naturopath and I'm helping people get healthy. It's like, no. Like, oh, I'm healing. I'm now moving from healing the physical body through physical things into healing with consciousness. And literally people, even medical professionals, like, that are used to, you know, that paradigm, they're drawn to it. They're like, everyone's searching for more meaning in their life. They're searching for more peace. They're searching for more abundance and happiness. This is not just, hey, I want a love relationship.
They can have it.
It's everything. It's everything. And whether, you know, abundance, you guys that have money blocks or limiting beliefs that you think you have a ceiling, you can't break through, this is the type of work that supports it. It's amazing.
And Erika, you did the abundance one, and look, it all happened, didn't it? It all just flipped one after the other. It was like unbelievable. Can you believe that would happen?
Yes. I started, yes. What was, I did an I worked on abundance probably 2 years ago, prior to meeting Amanda. And then in some of our sessions, we also address that too. But it's amazing how quickly something can, it's an energetic shift that happens, because it's all about, you know, money is energy, right? Abundance is energy. And abundance isn't just money. Abundance is about freedom, peace of mind, happiness. Like, the fact that I've designed my life now and I live my life the way that my heart wants to live my life. I get to go and see my daughter at school. I get to pick her up. I don't have to send her to daycare. I don't have to, you know, I get to dictate my life, but I love what I do.
Sorry, so many people say, you're so lucky.
You're so lucky.
You're so lucky. They don't know what it took to make that luck, okay? You're so lucky.
A lot of crap.
I mean, I had to deal with my abundance issues. I had to deal with all my things. What do you think? It was that easy? But then they look at you, you design your own schedule, you do what you want to do. You know, I work all over the world today. You can travel, you can be, you can do, you know, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. Really? No, there's no shortcuts. You have to do the work. You be dedicated doing the work, and then the things happen effortlessly. You know, whether it's success, abundance, you know, positive relationships, great children, everything. Like, it doesn't just happen, you know. You need to put a lot of work into it, but it's not a painful work. It's a joyous work, you know, and it's not that difficult either. You know, it's just awareness. it's just consciousness.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, living from higher consciousness it will impact every aspect of your life. But I just wanted to make sure that people understood that this wasn't just about healing physical ailments or relationship limiting beliefs or fears. It's literally about anything, bringing any sort of, it's about manifestation. It's about manifesting because when you're aligned, you become more of an instant manifester. When the energies align, when you're clear.
That is 11:11. It's from the heavens to the earth and manifestation. That's exactly it.
And so that's a little bit of a sneak peek as to what's coming, guys, with my website. But it's going to cover all those things. And
that. Mine's the healing. It's alchemyhealing.com.
Yes. So, okay. So is there anything else before? Yes. If you want to get in touch with Amanda, her website is alchemyhealing.com. And they can book their appointments with you through there too, right? Yeah, and I do healings as well, available on my site, like underneath the description box. So both Amanda and I do this type of healing work, and so you certainly can reach out. But before we wrap up here, is there anything else as the landscapers are supposed to be on Thursday, not Tuesday? Can you hear that?
No, nothing. You got any sound?
Oh, it's just, I'm glad you can't hear it. Hopefully you won't hear it on the recording, but it's super loud. The leaf blowers, California and their leaf blowers, man, I tell you. Sorry, what was I saying?
I was doing a session with somebody just before, and they were in like this kind of relaxed state, and suddenly, and I've got my window shut, suddenly I'm hearing a car left their door open with music like going on, and you're like, what? So yeah. Today we've been very lucky. It's been quite quiet. No dog barking, no.
Oh, the dog barking. Well, we're gonna have them meet your dog at some point. He's so cute. Is he? Where is he? Why is he? How come we haven't seen him?
Because I made him do a long walk today. I've like knackered him.
So he's tired. I know my cat was meowing downstairs. What's that?
Do that. Whenever we do this recording, we just have him walking lots and lots and lots for the day, and then he won't. Then he'll sleep.
Oh yeah, no, he's awesome. So, so let's see. So stay tuned. We're going to be doing these here on the site. Are we doing them every week? Are we committing to every week?
We're going to try.
Exactly. We are going to aim for doing these every week, but we know we both have a million things happening here. Books, websites, traveling. Yeah, because we're here, obviously we're doing this for all of you guys that are watching. So this will be shifting, and we'll kind of, it'll be evolving as we go. And yeah, so we'll aim to do this about once a week, and it'll just, if you haven't subscribed to my channel with notifications, if you want to do that, you will get a notification of when it comes up. If not, it'll just show up, but that good stuff. So is there anything else, or are we good? Should we pull a final card? Let's get some advice from Michael, seeing as he already showed up. Let's just pull a card. What's Michael's advice for those? What's his best advice for those of you guys who are watching this video right now? Let's just see what he has to say. Having confidence. Interesting.
Is that for us, like confidence in doing this on air like this? Or is it for everybody? Or it is for everyone? I got that.
No, it's for everyone. This is about body issues.
Yeah.
So I'll just read it, because this is where you'll hear the message. Please lend me your courage and fortitude. Help me realize that I am one with all that is divine. Wisdom, strength, love, creativity, abundance, and health. It's exactly what we were just saying. Allow me to feel confident and peaceful about myself in all ways. So he is coming on about the body image thing. Because you already spoke up about the speaking up thing. Like, it's about us moving into our mission work and not being afraid to speak up and to come out and to do this type of work, And let me get one more.
She's on a roll. Michael.
Let go of fear now. Yeah, he's saying, let go of fear. Help me feel safe and deserving of your guidance. Thank you for clearing me of heavy, toxic thoughts or feelings. Time to not be fearful anymore, guys. Having confidence and not be fearful.
It all through healing, going deeper healing work. It's time to release everything because it no longer serves you anymore. We don't need to be carrying all the baggage anymore. Release it all, and we can move forward in unity and wholeness. Amen to that.
Right? Mm-hmm. I love it. Yep. Okay. So thank you guys so much for being here. And like we said, please do share comments and questions or things that you really are curious about or would like to have some understanding about, because that's what we're here for. So I want to thank you, Amanda, from across the globe. What time is it there? Oh, it's not too late. Oh, you still have 5 more hours to be awake with your schedule. I'm just kidding. Amanda is right now at what normally would be my bedtime.
But it's really early. It works because you go to bed really early, which works for us because is that my morning? Yeah, but then I kind of wake up later in the morning. I know. No, it's awesome. Like, yeah. Sometimes at night, if I go to bed late, I can catch you when you first wake up, but that's very rare. It was really important. We've got it like going. Right. I know. It's a really good dream that comes out in the morning. If she lived right down the street from me, we'd never get work done because we would only overlap by about 3 hours. No, but our middle part of the day when you work and I work is not the same time, so it's good. No, it is. It's awesome. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Amanda. Again, I'll put her link to her website down below, and so people can get in touch with you. And as well, if they felt that was just for me, but in the end, we're kind of the two of us are together in this, so we would. Yeah, or you can reach out to me or to Amanda with any questions, or if you want to, do a healing or anything like that. And until next time, we wish you much love.